I kind of resonated with him just in the sense of just like how grief kind of puts you in the sense of like amnesia, where like you have this, because like you have to almost like learn how to live life without like a certain being around you that you've been around for a substantial amount of time. And obviously it feels different from person to person. Like I don't know what it's like to grieve a loss of a mother. I don't know if that's the same feeling of like losing a sibling, but I feel like grief kind of just like, you feel lost. So like I think you just feel it in general, but like
there are a lot of factors. Yeah, for sure.
You know, but I think like for me, like with kind of like, again, being this right after the situation of like saying I'm gonna leave the school and like I'm gonna do this and the other, and then like this thing happened, it's like everything that like I kind of like knew and prioritized, like kind of like slipped away with all that, because it's like I don't really give a damn about anything because I just lost a sibling, you know.
Yeah, there's something very numbing to it. That's always what I experience.
I
always experience just like okay, it happened, and it's like, all right, moving on type of thing. I don't know, maybe that's the Irish for me. I don't fucking know.
He said the Irish.
Yeah. It's always a joke about the Irish. They're just like one of my 7 kids died, whatever, fuck, just moving on. Still got 6 of them.
I had I had Irish teammates when I was a freshman in college in cross country and track, and like they were just wild. So like like they were just like tough. Like they're the kind of people who like they could like break a rib and be like, oh, it's okay, hey, we're gonna run this race and run this mile in less than 4 minutes still. I'm like, y'all are a different breed. Oh my gosh, tough.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of a pussy, but you know, I try.
No, but
sometimes it still defaults. Yeah,
you said what?
Sometimes it still defaults to my Irish.
Yeah, but I think kind of like I feel like just kind of like in this like grief state and all that, I've kind of like have been on this side of like now remembering kind of like what I was in that gap of time between like my brother passing, when I kind of made the decision of like, oh, I'm gonna leave the schools, and then kind of fall into this like dream world of like I'm back in the schools, like I wasn't supposed to be here. I said 2.5 years ago I'm leaving for a reason. Now like I feel like my brain's kind of like getting back to like natural routines and all that, but like I'm really curious to kind of like see kind of like the studies of like grief and like how it affects the brain and that, because like it's crazy, man. It really just changed, like again, like it's and like I don't know if you resonate or not, but like it just, like I said, like it just really changes the whole like frame of how you think about stuff. Like you're just not the person you were and all that, which
I agree. It in a weird way, like it strengthens your armor almost. That sounds almost like more cliche than it really is. Like I feel like you just go through enough bad experiences, you go through enough death where you just kind of like I don't know. You just kind of get to a point where it's like, I mean, look, like my mother dying is going to be a lot different than like my grandfather dying, right?
Because of relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's true, and that's true because again, like I've had family members. Like I don't have a grandma on either my side anymore. You know, like my mom and dad's side. Like my mom's grandma died when I was like 21, 22, and like I felt it, but I still remember like when I saw her like kind of sitting, like laying in her hospital bed, like dead, I kind of was just like, dang, like that sucks. Like she was great, but it didn't really like rock me like it did my mom, who like in her grieving period, like I remember one time, like again, this is like my Christian days and all that.
Sure.
What were those Christian bookstores that were once a thing? Do you remember what they were called?
There's like a million of them.
It's like they always had like these purple drapes at all of them and all that. It had like a certain name. It was like a big like organization. All of a sudden they like disappeared.
I don't know.
I'll just call it the Christian bookstore and all that. But like it was back in the day, like when my grandma passed, I like worked at the Christian bookstore, and I was the only black man who worked at this Christian bookstore amongst like a whole bunch of white people. And when I think back, I'm like, dang, like that was weird. Why'd you put yourself in that position? But I remember one time I was like going back home, and I just missed I like supposedly I just missed my grandma's like what do they have like the day before, like they have the funeral ceremony for like people who die. What's the it's like a sort of reception thing they have the day before.
Oh, the visitation.
Yeah. So like I was working at a Christian bookstore at the time, and like again, like my mom didn't like communicate this with me because again, she's going through grief. You're not going to like think about how you're supposed to like tell this person or tell this person and all that. But she forgot to tell me that my grandma's visitation was that day that I went to work. You know, so I get back home. And my mom was just like furious, and like I've never seen her like mad at me for like the last time I saw her this mad at me, mind you, I was like 23 at the time or something. The last time I saw her that mad at me is when I was like 7 and kicked her in the face, and I deserved that. Like I deserved that one. Like I deserved the anger. Like I get that. It's like I kicked her in the face, like as a kid, just being, you know.
See, I don't believe in corporal punishment, but like, if that happened to me, I don't know how you couldn't. I feel like I'd slip.
Oh gosh,
dude, yeah.
But that was the last time I saw her as mad, and she was like upset because I missed the visitation. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I told you. But when I had this whole big blow up moment, you know, and for me, like, kind of being in this place of like knowing. Back then, I was like, man, like that sucks, like, because even then, like, I tried to like give her a hug and all that. She pushed me away and all that, and like, I was like, dang, like this sucks, man, like, and all this. But like, I think now going through grief, I realize I get what was happening. Like, you just aren't who you are. Yeah, when you kind of like lose somebody where you're just like the shit that you would never do before, like you're going to do because you're kind of like not all the way there, you know. And it's really interesting. It's like a journey to kind of like in the grief period. It's like when you lose somebody, you also lose you. So with that, you're kind of like, damn, I don't know how to operate in this world without this human being, even though we just saw him once a week or like every 2 weeks or every month and all that. It's like there's an adjustment now where like I gotta like live life in this space of like this human being isn't here anymore. Like it's like it's like you lose a part of yourself, and you gotta have like this moment of like, I think it's necessary. I think like, again, like kind of thinking about it, mind you, this is all just like random ass theory that I was just thinking about, but it's as I kind of just think about grief, it like now it's just like I think it's necessary to go through that, like, oh, you kind of lose yourself and like you got to kind of rebuild who you are and all that, you know, and you'll do old stuff that you'll get caught in like cycles and all that, but
yeah, exactly.
You know,
I think a big part of that too is like making sure you kind of have a template for good mental health and good like something that I'm still fucking figuring out, but like, you know, good coping skills, right? Like if you have like a good base of like ways to deal with things and way to look at life and stuff, like those grieving things that happen, like in theory will be better. I mean, obviously they're like your death of your mom will be like catastrophic either way, right? But like
absolutely,
if you have a good baseline, you're less likely to like completely go out of control. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just learning how to sit with it, you know?
Exactly.
You know, just kind of just having a reminder of just like sitting with it and not trying to distract yourself, you know? It's kind of like the practice to kind of find them up, because like it's when you distract yourself, you start doing like Kanye lost his mom and now all of a sudden like like he's married to Kim K and all this stuff and like doing all these like weird things and all this. It's just like it's wild, you know. It's just like a grief is, I say it to say again, like just kind of like being back in this place of like realizing like why I left the school is like, okay, I forgot that purpose because there was a death that happened right after I made the decision, and like that part of me that said like, oh, we're gonna do this revolutionary thing, and then forgot and kind of fell into this like cycle again, you know.
Sure.
It's really interesting, you know.